Main Event Marika. I am Chris with the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Tjpw, February 5th, 2022, available on Wrestle Universe. Tjpw had a smaller show before their Kraken Hall show on the 11th. There wasn't really any story beats during the show, but there was an emotional match in the main event for the soon-to-be leaving Marika Kobashi. This was a single camera show with no commentary. Hikari Noa was unable to be at the show, so instead the Up Up Girls song and dance to start the show, we had a treat of Mio Watanabe performing her entrance music. The opening match on the card was Nekokakuda versus Toribami. This match is a bit stilted at start, but as the match went on it got smoother. Kea is the newest member on the roster, so inexperience does come through sometimes. Now is among the more experienced members on the roster, so she was able to bring the match together. This was also Toribami's longest singles match to date at close to 9 minutes. Nekokakuda's matches tend to be on the slower end, but I think that is the point of her on the roster, I believe. She is there to help teach pacing so the wrestlers learn how to have longer matches and mix up their offense. The end came after Nekokakuda hit a backpack stunner on Toribami for the pinfall win. The second match was a tag match, Shoko Nakajima with Haruna and Neko versus the team of Suzumi and Arisu Endo. Suzumi and Arisu Endo have been tagging a lot over the last 4 months or so and have good chemistry. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a match for the tag belts at some point this year. As for the match itself, it was a fun match with Shoko Nakajima being the glue of it. There were plenty of face scratches as would be expected from a match with Haruna and Neko and a few of Suzumi's great drop kicks. Arisu Endo, while being the least experienced in the match, still kept up. Her growth since her debut bodes well for her career. The first 619 attempt by Shoko was scudded by Endo, but after she was able to get a second 619 to land, followed by a bridging suplex, Shoko Nakajima got the pinfall win for her team. My favorite match on the card was next, a tag match between the current tag champs Yuka with Mizuki versus the team of Palm Harajuku and Raku. I am a fan of some of the more chaotic elements of Tjpw, and this match was full of chaos and fun. Case in point, major story beats of the match revolved around finger hearts and shin kicks. Raku and Yuka started the match pretty conventionally, trading holds and submissions before they each tagged in their partners. It was then that the wheels came off. In a callback to a previous match, Mizuki tried to take off Palm's shoe, but Palm was able to keep her shoe on this time. Multiple shin kicks from Palm were dodged by Mizuki, and in an attempt to distract Mizuki so she wouldn't keep jumping over shin kicks, Palm gave Mizuki finger hearts. It confused Mizuki for a second, which gave Palm the opening to hit a shin kick. Later in the match, Mizuki, still angry about the finger hearts deception, beat down Palm into the corner. Yuka was tagged in, and after beating up Palm a bit more, Yuka proceeded to taunt Palm with finger hearts of her own. As I said, this was a fun match, but it wasn't only silliness, there was decent wrestling. Who would win the match was not really in doubt, but I was surprised a bit by the ending. Yuka beat Palm Harajuku by submission. I am not really sure what the hold was, but it was kind of like a combination of a calf slicer and a sharpshooter. Yuka adding a submission finisher into her arsenal is a good idea to complement her current high-flying and power finishers. The fourth match on the card was a preview of the finals of the Max Heart Tag Tournament. It was a trios match between the teams of Hyper Masao, Nekokakuda, and Yuki Aino versus the team of Mahiro Kiru, Riko Tatsumi, and Mio Watanabe. Nekokakuda and Yuki Aino will take on Rika Tatsumi and Mio Watanabe in the finals of the Max Heart Tag Tournament. Both these teams are former tag champs, so the match on the 11th should be good. Hyper Masao shenanigans were kept to a minimum. There was really only one spot where she choked Mahiro with her cape. The focus of the match was more around the tag teams and showing off their teamwork in double teams. There were some stereo sentons from Nodoka and Yuki, while Miyu and Rika showed some more inventive double team moves, like Rika thrown by Miyu butt first into Nodoka for an aerial hip attack. This was a good match, but Mahiro Kiru was the weak point of her team. After a Nekokakuda Samoa Slam, followed by a kill switch, Mahiro was pinned. I don't really know who will win the tag tournament finals. Logic would say that since Nekokakuda is retiring soon, her team will lose. But the heart says she may win and get a final run with the tag belts with her sister before she leaves on March 26th. That leads us to the main event, a singles match between Miyu Yamashita and Marika Kobashi. Like Nodoka Tenma, Marika Kobashi is leaving TJPW soon, but while Nodoka is leaving to become a farmer, Marika Kobashi is leaving to focus more on university. Marika didn't call it a retirement and left the door open to coming back later in the future though. This may be the last time we see Marika Kobashi in a main event singles match. Miyu Yamashita and Marika Kobashi treated this match seriously. Miyu was able to control the match with her kicks. When Marika started to get ahead of steam in the match, she would be stopped short by those kicks from Miyu. This match was my favorite Marika Kobashi match to date I have seen, based on how she wrestled it. Marika fought the match like an underdog, chopping and striking with desperation. Usually she puts on a cool and fun demeanor in her matches, and this change suited her, I felt. Marika's change in attitude didn't win her the match though. After Miyu Yamashita hit Marika with the AA, it was the end of the match. After the match, a visibly emotional Marika and Miyu spoke with each other and the audience. You could tell the match meant a lot to Marika. This show was a bit up and down, and a handful of wrestlers had to sit out the show. I still enjoyed it for parts. My favorite match was the tag match involving Yuka and Mizuki versus Palm and Uraku because it was so fun, but I would recommend watching the last match to see and feel Marika Kobashi's emotions as she gets closer to leaving TJPW. The next TJPW show is on February 11th, headlined by the finals of the Max Heart Tag Tournament. And there will be a returning Neo Bishigun on the card. This has been the Joshi Wrestling Recap for TJPW, February 5th, 2022. Thanks for listening.